period of time in your life when you got to look at where you are and make a statement, and not make a statement by words, but make a statement by actions. And I think that's exactly what LSU needs to do this week against UCLA. As we do every Thursday, we're going to give you our keys to victory. We're going to give you by the numbers. So we normally, after 3 weeks, go by the numbers when it comes to how teams stack up. We'll talk about UCLA. We'll talk about LSU by the numbers. And something that we've been telling you all week, look, man, UCLA is not a good football team. You got to make sure that doesn't matter. You're a 23-point home favorite. You got to make sure it doesn't matter. I don't really care what UCLA is, and we'll go by those numbers, tell you how they've done this year by the numbers, and what by the numbers have shown us is exactly what's showing up on film. They're not a good football team, but it has nothing to do with them this week. Absolutely nothing to do with UCLA this week. You need to be you. Because, let's be honest, you haven't been. Nevertheless, we're live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. Hope all of you are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Brian Kelly met with the media the final time that he will meet with the media before Saturday's game. Talked about Chris Hilton, who, quite honestly, I wish Chris Hilton would have gotten a public apology from a media member this week. After, Saturday after a game, he was told some very vulgar things, but that's neither here nor there. Regardless, I hope that Chris does get that public apology from a very well-known person. Nevertheless, Chris Hilton is probable for the game, has been practicing throughout the week. Let's see if Chris Hilton, the new number 3 on offense, is able to go. That was the big thing taken from Brian Kelly's press conference, but we'll break that down in its entirety too. Last night we ran out of time, had a lot we had to get to. We'll give you week 4 picks. Your boy is 22-8 on the year, so we'll give you the picks at the end. I tell you, man, I tell you every time, I tell you every week, you need to stay with us on Thursday if you want to make a little bit of money. I give you the parameters too. Don't do spread, do money line. The job and the goal that you're trying to do is make money, regardless how big or little, it is. That's how we do it. So always while we're in the black. Never, ever in the red. 22-8 when it comes to betting is pretty good. So we'll give you our picks at the end of the show here. And then as we do every Tuesday and Thursday, we'll do hashtag Ask Blake. So thoughts, questions, concerns. I might ask you inside the chat to give me your score predictions at the end. And we'll break that down as well. No, he didn't. I ain't getting in the chat. No, he didn't. Listen to me. I don't care how much money kids are making in NIL. What Chris Hilton and his family have gone through this week is inexcusable. You had the thing on Monday about Bryant, bringing someone into the Baton Rouge media that, quite honestly, came here to stir up some shit. Okay, and then you had that going on Saturday. At some point. Anyway, if I would have done that, see, here comes everybody defending. He didn't apologize. Not publicly, not to my knowledge. Yeah, no, he didn't. I'm going down all the posts. No, he didn't. So, nevertheless, you can be mad at me all you want to. I could care less. I could absolutely care less. It's unexcusable. A little apology means nothing to me. Inexcusable. Because y'all have called me out for far less. Far, far less. All right, let's get to it. We'll get to keys to victory. Let's get to a couple of comments here. Let's see. Hakeem says, checking in from enemy territory in Mableton, Georgia. By the way, of Uptown, 3rd Ward, New Orleans. What's up, Blake? What's going on, Hakeem? Doing pretty good up in here. Mike T says he's in the 318, but he's currently in the 919. Good to have you in here, man. Good to have you in here as well. Howard Jr. says, go Tigers. Let's get it in. Yeah, I think we We're going to get a lot in. I mean, look, by the numbers, listen. Here's what I'll say about tonight's show. When Saturday gets here, if LSU does not put a whooping on UCLA, here's what I'd say. Then they completely fumbled the bag. You need to put a whooping on them. You need to put a whooping on them. Malcolm says 208 go Tigers. Good to have you in here as well. James in the 225. Landon in the 817. Howard says he's from the 318, but currently in the 205. Good to have you in here with us. Gerald says, Blake, looks like your boy is headed to Baton Rouge for the South Alabama game and then the Alabama game. That'd be really nice. Very, very, very nice. Very, very, very nice. Here comes Dane stirring up being petty. Good to have you in here, Dane. Father Abear says, New Iberia, my favorite uniform combo this weekend. Gold, purple jerseys, gold pants. Yeah, it's funny. They ain't I thought, maybe I'm wrong here, I thought the tradition was that when a non-conference team outside of the home opener, a non-conference team, unless it's a home opener, you're supposed to wear purple. You're supposed to wear purple jerseys. Anyway, so yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I do like the gold, purple, gold. Maybe that's me. I don't know how you feel, but yeah. James says 40-17 LSU. Man, why do I feel a gut wrench in my stomach? In saying that, here's the thing, James, should you beat them 40-17? Yes. The question is, man, will they go out there and do it? I mean, at some point you got to go out there and show that you can do it. Rob says, yes, it's the non-con. Right. I always thought that at home against non-conference, you're supposed to wear the gold, purple, gold, but I'm glad they're doing it this week. High Point Media says they're in the 318-31. Great. Good to have you in here. Landon says he's in the 817. Landon J38, good to have you in here, man. Christian Booty, the 337 in the building. I don't know if he's any relation to Kayshawn, but good to have you in here as well. Rob Boudreaux throws out 35-10. Man, you need to score more than 35, man. Woo! Brother, let me just tell you this. I'm going to give you one little nugget. You know how LSU's been really struggling in the red zone? The worst team in college football this year in the red zone defensively has been UCLA. They're 133rd out of 133 teams. You better do what you need to do, man. I'm telling you, man, Indiana, if you think I'm crazy, Indiana busted them up. Paul Zub says it's rare for us to wear purple against a power OOC opponent, out of conference opponent. First time since 2004 against Oregon State. Sorry if I triggered any flashbacks to that one. Yes, you did. And he forgot to add to home. Yeah, I think people knew what you meant there. But yeah, I like the purple. Purple. Actually, here's the truth. Can I tell you a little truth here? I'm in year 3. I haven't been playing as much during the season. Year 3 of the national championship run. I like the purple jerseys a lot, but I like the white, purple, white, but I don't mind the gold, purple, gold. Need to wear that more. Need to do that a little bit tonight. Maybe when we get off a little bit early, we can play some video games. Haven't been able to do that. That's why I haven't been tweeting about it. Season gets here. A lot of things go bad. Dane says, bring back the purple pants. I don't like the purple pants. Rob says, that's my first half score. I wouldn't mind that, Rob. I wouldn't mind that at all, brother. I wouldn't mind that at all. Need to do it. Absolutely 100% need to do it. All right. Let's get to it. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. If you're on Facebook, share to all those groups, share to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag, our good friend Tyler Alexander over at LPT Realty, and the good friends over at J&J Exterminating. Do us a favor during the break. Hit that like and share. We greatly appreciate it when you do it. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right, let me just say this and end it here. And I'm not bringing it up anymore. Here's the thing. I'm going to end it with this. An apology isn't like, because somebody gives an apology doesn't mean that all is forgotten and forgiven. Come on, man. Y'all are better than that. And probably some of you have that same thought. That's why you're excusing, which some of you are doing in the chat. You're excusing some of those. It's inexcusable, regardless if the apology is given or not. All right, let's get to it. So every Thursday, we give you our keys to victory. And I think that the one thing that we are going to look at, number one, and spend a hell of a lot of time on, because really, I have 5 points here. None is bigger than number one. Guys, Brian Kelly alluded to this in his press conference just moments ago, and I think that we need to dive in on this. Nevertheless, on how you want to slice it, dice it, talk about it. You got to start a game out really strong. Really fast. Now, I've heard the debate that LSU has started off really strong and really fast. Offensively, at times, they just haven't been able to get the ball in the end zone. Well, they didn't start off fast against Nichols. They had, I think, maybe one or two first downs. Then they had a punt or went for it on fourth down. Forgive me if my memory's bad, but they don't start off fast. I mean, look, they're in a dogfight against Nichols in the first half. You get to South Carolina, you're down 17-0. I mean, yeah, maybe you can say you started off a little fast against USC, but you can't score. So the score is 10-10 going into halftime. No, you're not really starting off fast. And Brian Kelly alluded to today, which is our number one key to victory. They've gone the first 15 minutes of practice. As soon as practice starts, they're going 11 on 11, 1 versus 1. Good. You got to find a way to start off extremely fast and start putting some of these opponents that aren't that good away. Let me just tell you this, and we'll go by the numbers in just a moment. But look at UCLA's defense through 2 games that they've played against teams that are not as good as LSU. They're 112th in the country in passing yards allowed. They're 124th in the country on third down defense. They're 97th in the country in scoring defense. They're tied for 31st in first down defense, giving up first downs. The problem with that is teams are scoring so fast on them that they're not giving up a lot of first downs. That's why that stat's a little skewed. They're the worst team in the country in the red zone. They're 133rd, tied for 133rd. They're 81st in total defense. They do actually do one thing relatively well. That's stopping the run. They're 28th in the country. But, guys, if you don't come out guns blazing, I got to question what the outright game plan of this game is. I mean, if anything, man, Indiana showed you the blueprint of what has to be done here. Now, do you want to get the running game going? Yeah, but it's a 4-quarter game. I mean, in all honesty, man, if Garrett doesn't have 15 passing attempts midway through the second quarter, we are doing something wrong. Now, the game will dictate, like if you're in 3rd and 3 and you want to run the football to get a first down, it is what it is. But, man, you got to come out guns blazing. There are things that you got to work on. I will admit, I still think you need to work on things that you're doing in the running game. Giving Caden Durham the football. I get all of that. But I also look at that defense, especially their defensive line. Guys, they're not that bad in the interior of their defensive line. They're definitely not bad at linebacker. But they are not that good right now on the boundary at corner, meaning UCLA. They're not good at safety. You have the receivers that are better than Indiana's. If you cannot separate, which is actually going to be, well, no, we put it in number 1. Your wide receivers got to get massive separation. Now, I don't know how much Chris Hilton's going to play. I don't know what they're going to do with him, if they're going to just make him like go out there on certain situations, get his feet wet, get his feet up under him, and then kind of let him work him back into the game. I don't know. But the bottom line is, man, not air raid principles. You got to go full on air raid. Guys, their secondary is horrendous. And you got to attack what is their worst weakness. Now, I told you last night when we talked about things I want to see happen for LSU this week and things I don't. Guys, you got to be in a situation for Garrett too, because he, against the last 3 Power 4 opponents, he has thrown an interception. So all 3 games that he has started in his career against Power 4 opponents, he's thrown a pick. Guys, if you're allowing this secondary to pick you off, unless it's like a receiver bats the ball in the air or something goofy happens, that's neither here nor there. But a true interception, what are we doing? Here's something I want to add to number 1. Don't play around with them if you're a player on that team. Have the mental fortitude and capacity to know that you got to go out there and take it to somebody's ass. I hope during the entire week that they locked in and they were ready to go, because the bottom line for me is this. Look, UCLA is more than likely better than Nichols. I'm going to throw that out there. They're a very bad P4 opponent. Very bad P4 opponent. I still think they beat Nichols on a neutral site. Really, I do. But you got to come out guns blazing. Pedal to the metal. You know what I actually would want to kind of see a little bit? Kind of want to see you go a little hurry up. Kind of want to see you go a little bit of hurry up. Get the ball out fast. Let players make plays. And here's another thing I want to see too, because I really do think you're going to win. And I think that you have the capacity and capability to win big. I want to see CJ Daniels getting involved in the red zone. Guys, against USC, against Nichols, and against South Carolina, there have been crucial plays when you have not gotten touchdowns, and 2 of those possessions where you haven't gotten points in general, where there have been situations where LSU has gone back to pass and CJ Daniels is wide open in the end zone where he could have scored. I do think that they're forcing the ball a little too much to Kyron Lacy, and they need to get C.J. Daniels the rock. You brought him here for a reason. Guys, he was the number one wide receiver in the portal for a reason. Let C.J. Daniels and maybe even Chris Hilton get to work. I love Kyron Lacy. I'm not saying go away from Kyron Lacy. But, guys, I'm going to tell you, Eamon Worry, the safety, was talking this week, and they asked him about his pick six getting called back. You know what the first thing that he said in his interview this week was? The first thing that he said was I knew that in crunch time on third down, the quarterback was going to number 2. You cannot have C.J. Daniels open in the red zone. You got to get him the football. Number 2, UCLA's had massive issues picking up the blitz. We talked about this last night, okay? I know that they're 39th in the they are 63rd in the country offensively at allowing sacks. That number is very skewed. It's very skewed to the sense of they played a really bad opponent in their first game, and then Indiana got really, really after them. Indiana sent some very creative stuff. They would show that they were blitzing. They would back out. They would send heat. Guys, their offensive line has a massive issue protecting their quarterback. I don't want to see Nichols ever again. Like, you basically lined up and said, base, man, two man, base, two man, base, two man. I don't want to see that anymore. You still got to give them the level of respect that they need, because they are a Power 4 opponent. Guys, you need game reps when you run plays in games. That is the biggest experience that you can ever get. I hope they turn the dogs loose like it's a song in the 2000s. Who let the dogs out? That's if I'm Blake Baker, I'm riding into football ops on Friday or Saturday morning. Who let the dogs out? I know that's an old school reference, but Blake Baker was old enough and surely is old enough to know that he had a song in his car when he was in college. Who let the dogs out? That's what he's got to do to his front seven. Guys, I don't mean this in a derogatory way. Don't let him pass the 50. Like, I'm serious when I say I want a complete ass whooping here. Now, I don't think that it's necessarily something that you have to completely do in reference to a key to victory. But what I would say is, okay, the reason Nichols continued to stay around you is they knew exactly what you were doing. You went base and did nothing special, and it bit you in the ass. Now, Blake Baker is one of the only coaches besides Corey Raymond that was on this staff when we went up to the Rose Bowl and got our cheeks clapped. I want him to have the fortitude of knowing what this fan base, number 1, needs, number 2, wants, and number 3, what a girl needs, what a girl wants, whatever makes me happy. You know, like, go out there. I know that's 2 song references in a row, but you got to go out there and clap those ever-living cheeks. Leave no doubt like it's Herman Boone. And remember the Titans. You got to do that, man, because, again, the more and more Savion Jones and what do you think UCLA is going to do to Braden Swinson this week? Because Braden Swinson's going to be targeted every single game from here on out. That is going to release Harold Perkins. I promise you, this is going to be something that happens. It's going to give guys like Harold Perkins opportunities to make plays. There were multiple times that Harold Perkins blitzed on this past Saturday against South Carolina, and the line of scrimmage shifted to him. Savion Jones as well. You know, I talked to some people in the media that cover LSU. They were like, oh, Savion Jones has been dog shit the last 2 weeks. Well, if you knew and watched what was going on, they shifted the line everywhere that Savion Jones or number 7 was going to be. Mass protect on 35 and mass protect to their ability on number 7. Braden Swinson had one-on-one opportunities, which made him eat. Sage Ryan the same way. They're so worried about 35. They're so worried about 7 that it's going to springboard somebody else. And that is what Blake Baker's defense is going to accomplish the more and more you run it. I don't want them passing the 50. Is that plausible? Probably not. It's probably not plausible. Okay? Probably isn't. But at some point in the BK era, you just got to come out and open up a can of whoop ass. You know, on Twitter, when we're watching college football on Saturdays, you know, we'll be watching another game, and for every game that's high profile that we watch, and I do this for Ruffino and Joe Show specifically, if a game gets out of hand, I'll tweet out, so-and-so is opening up a can of whoop ass. I want to be real with you. I want to have the tweet where I can put out there, well, LSU's opening up a can of whoop ass. I was hoping to do it last week, but as we talked about too much, I still think South Carolina is a pretty damn good team. They got a lot of really good talent. Get after them. Their offensive line has had massive struggles picking up the blitz. They got away with it in their first game. They couldn't get away with it against Indiana, and I'm going to be honest. You are better than Indiana. I want you to come home and knock somebody's teeth in the dirt. I hope the atmosphere is really good. I hope there's a lot of people in the stadium. But it is what it is. Listen, number 3. This stays with defense too. And I want to make this known. I'm not trying to poo-poo all over UCLA. However, their running offense is abysmal. It's abysmal. Guys, I look at what they've done running the football through 2 weeks. They're 122nd in the country in rushing offense. They're only running the ball for 80-something yards a game. Guys, I got to be real with you. You got to just you can't let the situation like Nichols in week 2 happen again. You really, really, really can't. Guys, they can't move the ball running it. And I think that that's going to get a little bit worse this week when they face LSU, but don't give them a reason. Don't bite on any trick plays early either. Guys, UCLA is the type of team that comes out and does a trick play, like a double pass, 2 or 3 plays into the game to try to get an early score on you, to get some momentum. Lock in for the first half, and I promise you, you'll get after them. Guys, they cannot line up and run the football. 80 yards a game. Now, some of that's been due to their quarterback has been running for his life. They've given up a lot of sacks. He's actually still their leading rusher. Because, I mean, they are so bad at running the football. Their offensive line in the interior, man, they're not good. They are not good at all. Indiana did whatever they wanted to. Now, Jalen Lee's out. You have a depth piece that's missing, two pieces along that interior defensive line that won't be here. I mean, listen, Brian Kelly alluded to this in his press conference moments ago, that, you know, because he's not playing an SEC opponent, he doesn't have to give out an injury report. But what's the status of Dom McKinley? Now, I know Brian Kelly last week said he'd been dealing with a turf toe, or maybe it was Monday they said he was dealing with a turf toe, and that's why he's been out. He's been injured. But he came out today and said, look, man, we're relatively clean. Jalen Lee is out, and Wes Weeks is probable. But other than that, we feel pretty good. Okay, well, if that's the truth, you need to get – look, I'm telling you, you could get some young guys in here and do some really good things and get them experience. Stop them in the run game. but you do have 2 interior defensive linemen that are out. And I'm going to tell you, when Lenora Sellers did that inverted read, what would it have been like if Jacoby and Giller would have been an anchor in the middle of that defense? How would that have gone? And here, we hadn't talked about this. What is the impact of Jacoby and Guillory not being there? Because he might be, we go through the season, we might find out and realize that, man, him going down was a massive issue. I don't know. All right, couple more here. Number 4, listen, I want you to run the football, but I need you to establish the running game, the passing game early. I know a lot of you want to see more of Caden Durham. I still look, regardless of what I think of a key to victory, I still think that they're gonna go by committee. And I think they're going to continue to do that. And if Caden Durham has another big game, they'll start giving him the ball more. Guys, even though I want to see more of Caden Durham, I just think it's still going to be a lot of the same. So, with that being said, even though I think you can run all over him, regardless of what I think, it's not going to change anything. They're still going to go running back by committee. I want, and I think I mentioned this last night, I want at minimum 15 touches on Caden Durham. Now, I understand what they did against Nichols. A little birdie chirped in my ear and said, listen, we didn't really run a lot of guys. We got Juwan Johnson in the game because we got a long season and we didn't know what we were going to do at running back. And listen, I put this on the forum early yesterday about the Trey Holly cases. Why y'all got to be on the forum, man? AYSSnetwork.com/forum. But y'all got to be on there. I mean, I didn't put it on Twitter or anything. I put it in the forum. Sources. Trey Holly's case got extended to December 18th. He's not coming back. And listen, I know you have Juwan Johnson and Caden Durham, but, man, until you get Harlan Berry back there, you don't have the explosive depth that you need. And I love Caleb Jackson. And I hope that Caleb Jackson finds a way to start going off. I think Caleb Jackson's got the ability and the tools, man. I really do. I don't know what's going on with him. I honestly feel like we're seeing a different back to start a season. The back that we saw in camp is not the back we saw this season or have seen this season. I still think he's got the ability. They're going to go by committee, but you need to get Caden Durham at least 15 touches. Last but not least, before we go by the numbers, guys, you on offense, the worst thing that you do offensively is scoring touchdowns in the red zone. That's the worst thing that you do as an offense right now. LSU is 111th in the country in red zone offense. 111th. Excuse me, 87th. 111th in rushing, excuse me. They're 87th in the country in red zone offense. The only thing about that is UCLA is dead last in the country in red zone defense. Guys, I need to see better things from you in the red zone because all this stuff in between the 20s to 20s does not matter. I'm telling you, I don't care how many yards Garrett Nussmeier throws for. I don't care what it looks like. If you can't get in the 20s and 20s, there's going to be teams that you're not going to be able to score on when you get there, and you'll lose a game because of it. Listen, man, in the second half against South Carolina, you threw an interception, a pick six that came back, and then you got on the 6-inch yard line and you couldn't score. Something's going to give here. Like, legitimately, something is going to give on which one of these teams can make stops or score. They are dead last in the country. 8 possessions, 8 touchdowns UCLA has given up in the red zone. 4 of them in the first half against Indiana. Then the wheels completely fell off. But it's one of the worst things that you do is red zone efficiency and red zone offense. By the way, you have a 53% completion percentage inside the red zone. That is abysmal. Garrett has a 53% completion percentage in the red zone. Abysmal. That's got to get better. Guys, there's no reason why he should be below anything of 60%. Nothing below. And quite honest with you, I didn't go back to the Purdue game, but I went back and our buddies Believe's partner now with PFF. They have Garrett Nussmeier at 53% completion percentage in the red zone. That's got to change. That's got to change. Here's another thing to add to that. I agree with what Carter Bryant and I discussed on Monday. You need to do more play action. Now, it's ironic. Stay with me. It's ironic. A lot of you who are Saints fans were saying that last year for the Saints. Right? Like, hey, man, you're 23% in play action rate. Guys, you're hovering around the same thing. You're hovering around the same thing. I wouldn't mind seeing Garrett go a little bit under center at times. Guys, going under center, I don't know what it's about. I think maybe it's because how the defense aligns, maybe. I don't know. When a quarterback goes under center, it makes the pass game a little bit easier for the interior of the offensive line. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why that happens. Maybe because – well, actually, I know why it happens. Because when a quarterback's under center in the passing game, you know, when you're in shotgun – the offensive line in the interior will take 2 steps back to get traction on the pass rush that's coming their way. Because in case a blitzer's coming, they have time to react and get back there. However, when you're under center, look, man, you're firing off the football, okay? And that interior's got to be stout with their blitz pickups. They got to be stout and stuffing the line. That's why Drew, as a shorter quarterback, which I know Garrett's 6'2", but Garrett's not an overly big quarterback. I wouldn't mind seeing some of that stuff. Like, guys, I got to be real with you. I think Les completely broke us of going under center. Like, guys, there's a lot of teams in the country that do it. You know, I was watching Miami this week. Miami goes under center, hit a play action and a deep post. Like, I'm watching the All-22 copy, and you got arguably one of the best offenses in the country that are still going under center. Need to get some more play action in there too. But look, man, when you get down the red zone, because you're going to get down in the red zone, I fear and hope a bunch. If that is the case, and you do get in the red zone a lot, I got to be real with you. If I'm Brian Kelly, I'm not settling for field goals. Now, that can come back to bite you in the ass, and why teams like UCLA come into your building and win. Context will be key. You need to get points in the red zone. All right. Those are our 5 keys to victory. Let's do this very quickly. I'll get some thoughts, and we'll come back and talk about Brian Kelly's press conference, and then I'll give you week 4 picks. Guys, we've been talking about UCLA all week, and I'm going to give you LSU's numbers too. So we're going to go by the numbers here, and I think that there are a lot of times when you go straight analytics, the analytics don't always show what, and are not going to show what's always on film. Guys, I think what UCLA looks like statistically through 2 weeks is exactly what you have on the field. Let's run through their defense. Guys, they're 112th in the country in passing yards allowed. I talked about this earlier. I'm sorry for everybody that this is on repeat. They're 124th on third down defense. 124th. Guys, that is worse than LSU last year. Think about that for a minute. That's worse. Basically, guys, think about it like this. I know the score didn't indicate that Indiana put a whooping on UCLA because they kind of took some air out of the ball in the second half. They didn't want to run it up, and good on Kurt Cignetti. But listen, man, they have been abysmal on third down. They're getting outplayed. They're getting out coached. They're getting out just everything. That's going to be a big thing if you get in the third down. Scoring defense, they're 97th in the country. Red zone, we talked about dead last. They're 133rd in the country. Total defense, they're 81st. There is one thing that I do think that they do well that does back up the statistical stats on this one too. UCLA is 28th in the country in run defense, and I can see it. Guys, they were really stout in their 2 games so far in stopping the run. Now, they hadn't really played anybody, and I don't know what to make of Indiana. I think Indiana's really well coached. That's what I do know. But, man, UCLA's interior defensive line and linebackers were pretty stout the last couple of weeks in stopping the run. Again, 28th in the country, man. I mean, we couldn't do that against Nichols. They have been stout there. So there is that. And that's another reason why I kind of want you to just come out and put them away early and throw the football around. Because, look, man, if you are just trying to go in there and run the football, you're going to find yourself in 4th and 6 and punting the football away. I'm telling you now. And you have had struggles there. This is not the week to work on it. Working on it at practice, things like that. And listen, maybe this interior offensive line turns it on. Maybe they turn it on. And I hope that they do. I hope they really do turn it on. And you get a lot of really good push from that interior. Until then, you're going to ease yourself into testing that interior UCLA defensive line. That's what I tell you. All right. Offensively, let's go there. UCLA is 115th, tied up for 115th in the country in third down offense. Passing offense, they're 85th in the country. Guys, they're 122nd in the country in rush defense or rush offense. Guys, they just can't run the football. Their guard play is really bad. Their tackle play is really bad. They can't really get any lanes in the running game. I mean, the Kelly kid, the running back last week, was taking a beating. Not only was he their best back and had, if I'm not mistaken, their most yards, he also led him in receptions and yardage. 4 catches, 41 yards, and did have a touchdown. Problem with that is, man, they have not been able to run the football. And here's the crazy thing. Their head coach is a former NFL running back. He just doesn't have the personnel. He does not have the players. Chip Kelly left that worse than what Brian Kelly inherited at LSU. It's not going to be good, man. They're 126 in scoring offense. Guys, their offense through 2 games has only scored on average 14 points on offense, 14 and a half. I mean, look, man, I swear to God, if you allow UCLA to walk off in here and start busting one off in your ass, no diddy, no pause. I mean, guys, it's really going to be a lapse in what needs to be done here. Right? Like, I mean, I'm dead serious in this. Their offense is abysmal. I think Eric Bieniemy's a really good coach. I do. But, man, they don't have the personnel, nor do they have the coaching. I think Bieniemy's called 2 really bad games. Just being frank with you. 2 really, 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 really bad games. Might be why teams didn't hire him. I don't know. They're 64th in the red zone. They've had 6 trips in the red zone. 5 of them have been field goals. They're 125th in the country at gaining first downs. They're 124th in the country in total offense. And like we mentioned earlier, they're 63rd in sacks. Guys, I'm telling you. $126th in scoring offense. Here's why I think it's a big game. Let me just say this, because I feel like I'm coming off saying that they're a nobody, and I don't want to do that. However, man, it will say so much. And we talked about this last night. We talked about it on Tuesday. Man, so much that you got to go out there and make a statement. Like, you know what, man? LSU came out there lackadaisical against Nichols. They were finding their way against USC, and they did find a way against South Carolina. They wound up coming out with a win. Man, I'm telling you, you're going to find out a lot about your football team. I'm serious. Like, you're really about to find out a lot about LSU and the character and the character of how players take care of business. Now, what's interesting, Jacques Doucet at WAFB has been asking all the players this week, hey, man, Kentucky almost beat Georgia and they hadn't scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. What's up? Like, are y'all taking anybody lightly? Now, Braden Swinson and Ashton Stamp said that they're not. But I'm telling you, man, go out there and just beat somebody up. All right. Stephen Perilou, yeah, we were about to watch this game at the end of our show, but South Alabama up early on App State. They are. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you, I think South Alabama beats UCLA. Really, I do. Now, App State got absolutely depleted. Feel bad for App State. Brandon Reese says at some point the players have to be self-motivated. No doubt. No doubt. I think Derek's got a good one here. He says, set the tone, play action deep, get in your own territory, go deep, get 6, spread them out, run between the tackles, play some tempo, beat some ass. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that, man. So there just comes a situation, there 100% comes a situation where you got to go beat their ass. So, yeah. August Fugate says, yo, Blake, go Tigers. Good to have you in here, good sir. My man from the FKT, 985 in the building. Good to see you in here, August. Hope all is well, man. Hope all is well. Jared Addison says, it'll probably be a 4-point game in the third quarter like always, but I hope not. Jared, I'll send you a super chat. I just don't think that that's going to happen, man. I really don't. I think that it's been preached to them all week, like, hey, man, y'all going to do what y'all did against Nichols. Now, here's where I'm going to back off of the players for one little thing. Guys, I thought here's what I'll say. And this is going to get me in trouble, but oh well. You coached a really bad game against Nichols. The game plan was ass. And I say it, okay, and saying it was ass, maybe it's not necessarily was ass. It was vanilla. Guys, you ran all the stuff you did in spring football and beat them. I mean, it's just the truth. And you didn't go away from it. Because you thought you could just run out there and play a little bully ball and then, play a lot of guys. Guys, I hate that philosophy. I was talking about playing college football 25 earlier. Dude, we'll play FCS Southeast, and I'm blitzing all night. I'm stat padding. Like I remember 2 years ago, and I think it was in week 2 when I was playing with LSU when the game first came out. Harold Perkins had 5 sacks. I mean, I ain't playing around with these people. Why am I going to play around with them? I don't play the second. I'm not trying to play the second half. I don't need to play with Ricky Collins. I mean, come on. I don't want to play with the second team offense. Now, what's interesting is I might do that next year when Bryce Underwood's on the team. Hey, that's going to be really fun. A lot of kids going to be in here this weekend, too. Here's another thing. Glad I brought this up. There's going to be a lot of recruits here for the game this weekend. I have I know that the conversations had been had in that building that there needs to be, that they want to open up a can of whoop ass to kind of show everybody that's going to be there, like, hey, DJ Pickett. It's LSU, bro. Like, we're young team, a lot of new starters. We're getting this shit right. You get what I'm saying? Like, so in the back of Brian Kelly's mind, even though he'll never say it, like, and it will never be asked to him, in the back of his mind, he's like, you know what, man? I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave the first team offense in one more drive. Please God, Garrett Nussmeier don't get hurt. Let's go a fade route, Chris Hilton, and get the first team out of there. That's the mentality that they want to set. that you get up early, you dominate them at every single facet, every single one. And I'm going to tell you this too, man. If Garrett Nussmeier plays better in purple, like if he plays like he did against Purdue, and he looks like he did against Purdue, and he does the things like he did against Purdue, put that kid in the purple jersey and don't take that son of a bitch off. By the way, my grandma, my Italian grandmother Josie, the Ruffino side, she always used to say, son of a bit, son of a bit, son of a. One time I asked her to spell it. She said S-U-N-N-A, son of a. Let's go put on a show, man. All right, let me do this. Take a quick break. We're right back in just a moment. Stay with us. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirement. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Also, need to talk about our good friend, our good buddy, John Patton over at GMFS Mortgage. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. Listen, guys, if you're looking for a new home, you're trying to refinance on a mortgage, you need to get in touch with my good friend, John Patton. Look him up right there on Google. You can get his extension. You can get his party, all of that. Get with John Patton today, NMLS number 80735. Let him know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Also, our good friends over at The Athletic Collection, theathleticcollection.com. Shop-TAC.com. Shop-TAC.com. Guys, everything that you would want LSU, and they're coming out with a lot of gear that like the coaches wear on the sidelines, is over at The Athletic Collection. You see Brian Kelly wearing something, there's going to be some stuff like that. The dry fit hoodies, guys, the dry fit hoodies is what Brian Kelly wore 2 weeks ago. Like, where else are you going to get that? It's clean, it's fresh. By the way, I said this last night too. Maybe some NIL opportunities for players if you want to proceed and give and help out. So our good friends over at theathleticcollection.com, shop/TAC.com. Brian Kelly met with the media about an hour ago, I guess. Some key takeaways. The first thing that he said about when he was asked about defense, what is the one thing that he wants to see from them? He talked about the number one thing is eliminating explosive plays. Guys, it's true. I know, and we could go by the numbers as an example. LSU is 85th in the country in passing yards allowed. Yeah, through 3 weeks. Let's see how that happens the next couple. They're 41st in sacks. Look, man, they've been getting after the passer. I mean, outside of one game, it kind of hurts what they're doing. But getting close to about 3 sacks a game, really productive. Been somewhat mid, though. I mean, look, man, your rushing defense is tied for 94th in the country. That came a lot due to last week. I thought you were really good in week 1, stopping the run at times against USC. But, man, scoring defense, you're tied for 94th in the country. You've given up a lot of points. I understand that, listen, you play USC in South Carolina and that, stats are somewhat skewed. But you also played Nichols and you gave up too many points to them too. You have an opportunity to really put a stamp down on who you are defensively. Let's go take care of business this week and do it. So he said explosive plays. So to that, Brian Kelly said that he thinks that LSU is a lot better and it's done a lot better things defensively, and he's seen growth in this team defensively. They just got to limit explosive plays. Guys, it's kind of true. You did. I mean, really and truthfully, man, USC was not good at methodically just boom, 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 boom until like the last drive of the game. They hit explosive plays on you, and that's what ultimately beat you. You gave up 2 long passes, the one-handed catch, and then 2 fade routes. Guys, you eliminate those, or you're just more competitive in those will start falling your way. Like Ashton Stamps, the PBU that he had in the red zone that led to a missed field goal. You got to limit the explosive plays. And that's not a Matt House or Blake Baker thing. That's been a us thing. It's been a personnel thing. Just who we are. It is the number one thing that they need to work on. Chris Hilton, probable. Jalen Lee out. West Weeks is going to be a game-time decision. Look, man, I'm going to keep saying this. Even if Chris Hilton has 5 catches, 130 yards on the year, like if his stats are really bad throughout the year, you need him. You need him. You need him to stretch the field vertically. I think Aaron Anderson showed that he can do it in the slot a little bit. You know what you need. You need Chris Helton out there at X and running go routes to keep people honest. By the way, did y'all see Mel Kiper's too high safety thing today? Dummy. Teams need to start running too high safety. Well, run the football. Teams have too high safeties, run the football. Can't have success there, then that's on you. That's on you. Anyway, so Brian Kelly was also asked about the Trey Holly case. He said it's out of our hands. He ain't touching that no more. State provided new evidence yesterday. He's not going to touch it. Look, man, I know that you're getting Harlan Berry next year. I know you have Caden Durham and Caleb Jackson that will be back next year. Listen to me. Josh is out. You need to go get a portal running back. I'm not saying that you need a starter. You just need high quality depth, a high quality depth piece, like a guy that can come in and, man, at the end of the game, you're like, damn, I mean, so-and-so had 8 carries for 37 yards, 8 carries for 40 yards. You got 5 yards of carry. So, look, man, I know he got 8 touches. That's kind of a lot, but, man, he was kind of serviceable. Got a couple of big third down runs. I said this all offseason and got so much heat from people. You need a portal running back. I know that, guys, you can't have 4 scholarship running backs. And I know that JT Lindsey's coming in as well. Guys, that's a lot of youngins in that running back room. It's a lot of youngins. You feel me? A lot of youngins. If it makes sense, but I think you need one. So Brian Kelly's staying away. He was also asked about safeties. Interesting that the first thing that he said is that, Jordan Gilbert's been really good, and Deshaun Spears, we got to get out there more. Well, then you got to take Major Burns off the field then. Put him at star, or I think LSU might have made a little bit of a blunder. The thing with Harold Perkins, I got to be real with you. I don't mind it, but you got to take Major Burns off. He is not a high safety. He is not a safety that needs to sit back. He needs to be on the line of scrimmage. If you want to keep him out there, that's what you got to do. Stop with the whole rigmarole. By the way, PFF had Jordan Gilbert as the highest graded player, and it's funny. Some people around this media beat also don't like Jordan Gilbert, and they normally post PFF stats every week. Why didn't y'all post them this week? Y'all know who I'm talking about. So, yeah. Going to take Hilton time, says Brian Kelly. Oh, by the way, let me finish that last thought. You need Hilton. I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw this out there. Chris Hilton's going to make a catch this year that's going to be very crucial for you winning a football game. And all the shit that he took this week, I'm not fighting with any of you in the comments. Say whatever you want. I don't give two Rudy Poos. Trust me on this. It's coming. It's coming. You need him back. Brian Kelly was asked about safety. We talked about that. Going to take Hilton time. So, I think Chris is pretty well conditioned. I think he's just trying to limit expectations there. He's also asked about fast starts. He said, we've been going 11 on 11, ones versus ones, the first 15 minutes of practice. We're doing everything we can to get our guys ready to start a games. Well, I got to be honest with you. How locked in is your football team? That'll tell you if you're going to start off fast or not. How locked in is your football team? Oh, shit, I got to give you week 4 picks. I almost left this hoe and didn't give week 4 picks. Hold on. Been a long week. Been such a long week. All right, let's wrap it up with this. Where are my picks here? All right, week 4 picks. We're 22-8. These are the teams you need to pick. At worst, money line. I only do pick'ems. It's just how I roll. I ain't got to spin it's how I roll. We're 22-8. Tennessee over Oklahoma. I think that one could get a little ugly. USC goes into Michigan and wins. Nebraska over Illinois. Dylan Raiola has been something special that first couple of weeks. Utah over Oklahoma State. I don't like that one at all. I don't like that one at all. If I'm giving you that, but I don't like that one. Auburn over Arkansas. I don't like that one either. I'm not betting those two. I wouldn't bet those two. But I'm still going to take Utah over Oklahoma State and Auburn over Arkansas. I don't like those. I also don't like this one. I don't like Cal over Florida State. I don't like that one either. At what point is Florida State going to do something? But Cal has been somewhat good. The Cal algorithm is really working out there in California. Florida over Mississippi State. Florida's bad, but they ain't Mississippi State bad. That one might get a little ugly too. Mississippi State got blown out by Toledo. Let's see if Mississippi State players can respond. Virginia Tech over Rutgers. The Pison's going to get beat down this week, I think. Iowa over Minnesota. TCU over West Virginia. Oh, no. TCU over SMU. Excuse me. I just want West Virginia to lose so bad. Anyway. All right. Yep, Auburn can't afford to lose to Arkansas, but Sam Pittman can't afford to lose to lose the game. He needs all the wins he can get. We'll see you all on Saturday, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.